Nail the final interview. Game with Doug. Brand new mug. Come here, kid. Give me a hug. The more you want to do, the more we want to do. Boosters designed for COVID-19 variants are now available. If you've had your primary series, schedule an updated COVID-19 booster appointment as soon as you're eligible. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
Hey, it's Kevin Hart with my friend Catherine O'Hara.
Tis I.
And we're cash backing on our entire holiday gift list with Chase Freedom Unlimited.
We are. How about cologne for Jack?
You know what? That's cash backing and it's in the air.
Ooh, and I love this scarf for Barbara.
And I love the cash backing.
Ooh, focus on the giving, Kev.
And one more on the list. Somebody named Kev.
Kevin!
Yes! How do you cash back? Learn more at chasefreedom.com. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Restrictions and limitations apply. Cards are issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Since 1985, ASER has helped aspiring Latino students achieve their dream of going to college. But despite students' unwavering desire for progress, they still feel lost and powerless, making the need for support greater than ever. And that means it's time to hacer more. Go further like Katia Acheserata. Apply to the McDonald's ASER National Scholarship. Since 1985, McDonald's has given away more than $33 million in scholarships. Win a scholarship up to $100K. McDonald's is giving away $500K in scholarships this year. You can win one of the 30 scholarships. To apply, go to McDonald's ASER National Scholarships website. Visit mcdonalds.com/ASER. That's mcdonalds.com/ASER.
I'm Mark Sr. watching the Rick H. Show.
I just have to say that it is raining. I want to thank Mark for coming out in this monsoon. No, I just want it because I keep hearing the drops. So if the audience hears the drops in the audio, that's what it is. It's the glass. So cheers to a good episode. Cheers. Salud, salud, salud.
Use the restroom.
Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Rick H. Am I the host?
Yes.
I'm joined by my brother, Benny Banks.
Yo, what's good? I'm in the building. Haha, it's me. It's me. I'm here.
He's here.
My lifetime heterosexual best friend, Crazy Boogie.
I mean, any kind of sexual thing, yeah.
Sexuality.
I felt like I needed to specify the heterosexual part. And ladies and gentlemen, today we're joined by the very talented photographer, Mark Clennon. Mark, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Give you the fake, like, hey, what's going on, how you doing? So, who is Mark Clennon? First of all, that's the main question. Are you from New York? Where's your family from? Do you have 17 siblings? Do you have one sibling? You know?
Yeah. Mark Clennon.
Where you grew up?
I'm just a black man from Florida.
Let's go.
Okay. What part of Florida?
So
we gotta specify
I rep the whole state. I can't really specify.
What?
No. Give me one.
Let me tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why.
I want you to specify, man.
I will.
There's some places in Florida that I do not.
Oh yeah.
Fuck with. I want to know.
All right. So I went to 3 different high schools in 3 different parts of Florida.
Got you.
Right.
Okay.
So my formative years,
Okay.
I was always an out of town kid. Right. So.
Okay.
First 8 years of my life, pretty much, was in Tallahassee, Florida.
I've never been to Tallahassee, so okay.
The capital of Florida.
Yeah, no, I know where it is. I
just you know,
I always
I
drove.
know where
It's
Tallahassee.
in the Panhandle. Okay. And then after elementary school, I moved to middle school in Tampa, Florida.
Tampa. Okay.
Tampa. So I spent 4 years there.
So you're a Bucks fan?
Yeah, I'm a former Bucks fan. Yes.
Or former. We'll get to that.
Yeah, former Bucks fan. I'm a Bucks fan. If they get good,
okay.
I'll hop back on.
If they're good.
And then I went. My next high school was in like east of Orlando in Brevard County, which is like where the space shuttles go off.
Yeah.
Right.
That's one of the
So our director, Justin, he studied in Orlando.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So Brevard County, Palm Bay area. Shout out to Palm Bay. And then my next high school was in Pensacola, Florida. Was on the Alabama line.
Pensacola.
So in high school, did you know exactly what you wanted to be, or
no.
what school you wanted to go to? Like everybody in this world that knows exactly who they are from the beginning.
No.
Yeah.
I'm
because everyone knows.
From an immigrant family from the Caribbean, half Trini, half Jamaican. So I'm
Let's
supposed
go.
to
There
be,
we go.
So you're my neighbor.
I'm supposed to be a doctor. Pretty much, that was our engineer.
That is the only alternative in Caribbean families.
Or civil engineer.
Yeah.
Or a lawyer. One of those.
My grandfather, to this day, I called him Father's Day. He asked me if I'm going back to school.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like he's.
He still lives on the island.
No, he lives in Florida now. He lives in Florida now.
He's a winner.
So yeah,
you gotta get them that degree because that's one thing they always tell you.
I got the degree. It just I need that doctor. They want me
need that
doctor. So how'd you end up in New York?
Make that happen.
I don't know.
You don't
It's funny. So I got into tech right out of college.
Okay.
I went to college USF, so I went back to Tampa for college.
All right.
And I was working in tech in Sarasota, Florida. And I don't know the specific demographics in Sarasota, Florida, but the average age in Sarasota has been like, well, at least in my area,
65.
Like 65, 70.
Yeah.
I walked into a Panera Bread one time and like the music stopped and everybody's just looking at me. I had like a hoodie on. I'm like, this time I gotta find something else. So one of my classmates who had just graduated posted a post on Facebook. He's like, yo, looking for roommates in New York. I'm like, I'm not in New York, but I'll come. Like, if you move to New York, I'll move to New York and I'll be a roommate. So I just quit my job and just moved to New York. I moved in September. I think like August 1st. I didn't know I was going to be moving to New York. Yeah, it was a quick decision, but a good one.
That's good.
So you landed in New York. What borough did you land in?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Okay.
Wait, where in Brooklyn you guys found an apartment?
So it was really sort of my first time ever in New York when I moved here.
Right.
Williamsburg. We live on South 9th and Bedford.
Wait, how long ago was
2011.
this? 2011.
It's still nice. That's
time out. How much was the rent going in there?
The rent going in was $2,500 for a 3-bedroom. That was probably a third of the size of this room.
I feel that.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
It was tiny, and every time our upstairs neighbor took a shower, the ceiling would leak, and we had black mold on the top. And then they said they're going to raise the rent to $3,500. And we said, okay, we're going to have to do it. Yeah. So it's probably like $10,000 a month now, that same apartment.
I believe that shit.
So now you're in New York. Are you still working in tech or?
No, so I worked in tech in Florida just for like 10 months after college. Then I moved up to New York and I landed a job at AOL.
Shout out Steve Case.
Steve Case?
Like the founder of AOL.
News to me.
He's the, he knows all the facts.
Gotcha. Turned into Oath, and they own a bunch of different websites like Huffington Post and stuff like that. So I worked there for like 6 years. And then I quit to become a photographer in 2017. It seems like a far jump, but if anybody that knows me, so in college I was a promoter, a club promoter. So the reason I was able to move to New York because I was promoting a club so well, I never spent any of my full-time job checks. Like I never cashed them, right? So I had the ability to move up to New York. But because I had to make all these flyers, I'm in Photoshop and I'm doing Photoshop and I'm cropping the girl in the bikini out and putting the words on there every week, like repetition. They're like shitty little cup flyers, but it was just repetition. So I knew how to work Photoshop really well. And then I came up to New York. I'm like, oh, my job's pretty boring. Let me start to make a website. So I started making websites, to kind of cultural websites to see what events are going on in the city.
Right.
And then I was going on Tumblr and literally taking pictures from Tumblr and put them on the site, and people are like, yo, it's my photo.
Fire.
Take my photo down.
Yo, you don't want that Tumblr.
That's a cardinal sin. Now that I know I'm a photographer, I understand. By the time I was like, oh, I just need a photo for my website. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll just take my own photos on my iPhone.
Yeah.
So then I started just taking the pictures on my iPhone, and I started getting really good at it. And people are like, oh, what kind of camera is this? I'm like, oh, this is my iPhone. It's like 10 filters.
Which one?
Oh, this is probably like the iPhone 4 and 5.
Oh wow.
5C?
5 and yeah.
That's cool. I still have a 6, so it's all right.
Yeah.
We'll get you to the 21st century soon.
Was there a campaign that you got or someone that said, let's do the shoot, and while you were doing that shoot, you were like, this is my life? That epiphany moment, that's what I'm looking for.
Damn.
Was there one?
Wow, he's going deeper there.
Brought your SAT words up?
He's going deeper there.
Well,
I'm just
No, with you.
I like the
He's trying to
question.
capture the emotion.
But that doesn't align with when I figured out I wanted to quit, I wasn't shooting campaigns. I didn't have any.
Well, you know, that's what I mean. Like,
Right.
where you're doing a gig, it doesn't have to necessarily, or it was just a moment. Maybe you weren't even doing
I
the
think
shoot.
it was like semi-gradual. I think I was probably editing at like 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, and I'm like, I really loved it. Loved the shit. Like, I really like being in Lightroom and like fiddling with the colors, and like everything kind of aligned because I was in sales, like in the tech space, so I got to sell myself, sell my work. I did all the club promotion stuff, so like I was familiar with like just going out and just talking to people, whatever.
That's kind of interesting, bro.
And then doing all the flyers and stuff like that, I kind of was already familiar with all these programs, and then like the website stuff that I was doing before. Now I can just make my own website. I don't have to wait on anybody. I can make my own logo. I can do all these things. So everything just kind of merged. All my experiences kind of merged at one time. So
I think it's interesting because it sounds like you learn more the business part of what you needed to do before, you know, like
the artistry.
So that kind of like that transition is like most people, they figure some shit out like, oh, I like to paint or I like to do this shit, and then they're like, yo, I need to really get this business shit in order. And I feel like that's a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of backwards for me. So like, I had an opportunity to just focus on getting better at photography because I literally knew how to do all the other business stuff.
Oh, that's another thing. When a client comes up to you, do you have like an idea just from what they tell you, or like do you meet the person and say, you know what, you give them a suggestion? Like, how do you work that out?
Yeah, everything's different. A lot of times, so especially when I was getting started in 2016 and 2017, I had a lot of individual clients, and a lot of times they would have already like a vision that they were trying to capture, and that's why they had me in mind, and they reached out to me. So it's not like they're coming out of complete left field by the time they email me. But years ago, I have them kind of just tell me about yourself and what you're looking to do. Do you have any reference images to kind of give me a good idea of what you're looking for? You know, what do you plan on wearing? Do you have a location in mind? If you don't have a location in mind, we kind of bounce some ideas around. But, you know, in those cases, so I might shoot like the same, few different clients at the same exact location.
I mean, I guess if you gotta find a dope location,
right.
Or you got like a signature shot,
right. So like sometimes people are like, oh, why didn't you post my shoot on your page? Because like I plan on reusing that location with my next week, so I don't want to spoil it.
Next baby shower.
Yeah. So stuff like that. I mean, but now I'm really focused on like more corporate clients and like bigger scale things. Yeah.
How was it working with Ava?
Well, I mean,
or was it just like, oh, this guy's taking a picture of me?
There's a couple of times I was kind of like in the way. She's like, don't worry, guys, he's with Netflix. So she was like super sweet. She came and she like saw what she was doing, to say hello to me, which was, you know, surprised. She introduced me to folks like, this is a photographer from Netflix, and name is Mark, et cetera, which I thought was amazing because she's in charge of hundreds of people on set right now. We're on Lennox.
Right. Yeah, it's like her baby, and everybody that's there is under her.
That's crazy.
So, you know, all the actors are there. You know, John.
By the way, they look like.
Hey, it's Kevin Hart with my pal Catherine O'Hara.
No, I'm more of a bestie.
Kinda, sorta. Right now, we're cash backing on everything we need for the holidays with Chase Freedom Unlimited.
I got some ornaments and lights.
'Tis the season to cash back.
And lots of wrapping paper.
Maybe you're cash backing on a present bought for me?
About that.
I know you're kidding.
Am I?
How do you cash back? Learn more at chasefreedom.com. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Restrictions and limitations apply. Cards are issued by JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
From your shots in the red carpet, the actors look like they had a good relationship with you.
Yeah. Well.
So, or like a good vibe, because you could tell from the photos that there's.
Yeah. What I do is for stuff like that, I usually come out blazing with the camera fast. So they get really used to me, and also they're actors. They're used to having camera in their faces. They're used to performing in front of everybody. You know, everything's rolling, and like literally 100 people are watching them perform. Right. So, but on the set, you know, we're on Lennox, and you know,
beautiful street to shoot.
Ava DuVernay is directing, and she's walking through, and then people, you know, in Harlem, people are pulling their cars over, even if they don't even remember Ava's name at the top of their head. They'll come out the window, they'll like point out the window and say, "You." Thank you for everything you do for us.
Yo, that's
and it happened multiple times, and I'm like, wow, like the impact that she's had by telling black stories with the nuance and delicacy that they deserve. Like you can really feel it on the set, and like it was very emotional for me because I'm like, wow, this is the love. I feel the love, and I'm not even able. You know what I'm saying? And so she stopped every time and said, you know, thank you so much. I'm doing this for all of us, and we continue to shoot. Yeah.
So what are some other campaigns you or clients you worked with that you really? I mean, you love them all.
I did some Champion stuff. I did some ASICS stuff. I did Vans, and I did Reebok. Like all separate shoots. But that was like my first. Foot Locker was like my first like corporate campaign. Shout out to Tennis for.
Tennis.
Shout out to you, Tennis.
Mark, we got some stuff we need you to shoot. Is
That's
that how that works?
Literally exactly how it happened. She called me like, "Hey, I got this. This is my. I think it was her first campaign too. Like she.
Oh, really? Wow.
All right, I got this thing for Foot Locker.
Could you?
Do you want to shoot? Like, I'm like, okay. And I was so nervous. Like, I actually took, one of my collaborators, and she assists me sometimes. I actually ran through the entire shoot the day before by location with somebody the day before.
The next question. Is there something you haven't shot yet that you would like to, like you mentioned the tour?
Yeah.
Would you like to do a tour? Is there something that you vision or book possibly?
A tour would be fun.
Like a world tour? What do you
like a music tour?
Like a music tour?
Yeah.
I just don't have like.
That sounds mad fun.
I've shot like concerts. Like I did shot like some
like
stuff.
Coachella?
Made in America and Afro Punk and stuff like that. I just don't know if I have the resume right now to go on a whole tour. So that's not really like in my scope right now.
So let's say ASAP Ferg called you like, listen, man.
Yeah.
Would you? ASAP Ferg is some guy I would love to go on tour with him.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
If you
Mark,
ask
what's
me,
up?
Yes, Mr. Ferg.
Yes.
I'll be there.
Who's an artist that you?
Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick.
Fuck,
I mean, that's
hell
the.
yeah.
That's the. Even from his.
That dude is.
Yeah.
His CD covers and
Happy
all the
birthday,
artwork
by
and
the
stuff.
way.
Happy birthday! It's his birthday today. Would you dabble into something else besides photography, as far as like art or shooting or?
I mean,
Film, videos.
photography is very hard to be like the greats. So I'm focused on photography. I think that I'm not going to close the door on other opportunities. I feel like I have some great ideas in the tuck about some like film and motion picture type of things. It's just about entry points. I feel like if I can get to a certain level as a photographer, making that transition and finding the people that I need to find to make a really good visual will be easier. But yeah, like I'm definitely open to it. Like I never thought I would be a photographer. 3 years ago, I never thought I would be a photographer.
That's nuts.
But you love it though.
Yeah,
You get a sense of like, you go home at night, you're like, I love exactly right. 3 a.m, you're editing something. And like, damn, I would not be up if this was work.
Right. Well, I mean, yes. Work is work a lot of times. But like working all day at my last job and working all day now, I might be even more tired now, but it feels different. It's a different type of tired. You know what I'm saying? It's like being tired after hooping all day and y'all running the court. You know? Then instead of getting smacked for all day. So yeah, it just feels a different kind of tired. Like, wow, I'm actually pushing closer to what I'm trying to accomplish. Where before I thought I was kind of like spinning a wheel a little bit.
There's another thing. You also are involved with Ad Color. You shoot a lot of stuff for them. You did the Ad Week. Is it Ad Week, the magazine?
Yeah, the Ad Week. Yeah.
So how'd you get involved with that?
So, I, being the advertising person that I am, I quit my job. I didn't tell a soul. I wanted to do a whole campaign rollout. Like I shot a video, I wrote a script for the video. Like telling my story and like basically I'm open for business now. So I did it. Did really well on like Facebook, which I wasn't really targeting Facebook, but it did really well on Facebook. And I already had like a loose relationship with Ad Color. And then Tiffany R. Warren, the creative Ad Color, was like, hey, we need a photographer to shoot our Futures program. 2 weeks.
Oh shit.
I'm like, okay.
This was last year.
No, this was 2017.
2017. Okay.
2 years ago.
2017. Yeah, it was 2017. So like a few weeks after I quit my job, I was already in LA booked with Ad Color. So I was the first opportunity. So every year since, my role has kind of expanded a little bit more and more each year. Continue to work with the Ad Color family.
So Mark, is there a plan for a book? like I know a lot of photographers
Like a photography book?
Yeah, a lookbook. I mean,
Wait,
Kim
but you
Kardashian's
have
not
like
really
a you probably have like a
I
portfolio,
have a
like
physical
like a
portfolio book.
No, but I mean like a book where
Like a published kind of-
published, yeah, for sale.
Yeah, I get a lot of inquiries about buying prints. I get a lot of inquiries about books. I think that's something I want to do in the next year.
Yeah.
You just still want to work, like
Yeah, just
more
work time. Like summertime is the busy season for photographers, so I'm like,
Right.
I'm just collecting every bag I can get right now,
Right.
and then maybe like as things like slow up, like September, October, I'll start that rollout to offer some prints for the holiday season. I think would be
Right.
cool.
That'd be dope.
But like I have ideas for a book. Like I already have a book of my own personal. It's at my house. They're just scaling that and making it available to other people and kind of tweaking it. Yeah.
That's fire.
What would you tell a young aspiring photographer? What advice would you give them at this point?
You gotta use it. Shoot often. There's gonna be times you're gonna feel like you're plateaued. That's when you gotta challenge yourself and say, I'm gonna try to recreate this random picture. I'm gonna try to make a photo shoot that's all yellow. Try to restrict yourself. Rent a new lens and see how that works. Just always try new things. Try to put a plastic bag over your lens. I don't know. Like literally try everything at least once. Yeah, I've done it. It looks great. It looks great.
Really?
It looks like smoky. It gives like a smoky effect. And so, that's really important, just to explore. I found that like motivation and success, right? It's kind of a wheel. Yeah. Once you stop seeing success, you get less motivated.
Okay,
so you got to find another way to win. You got to find tiny small victories to keep that motivation going. Because people lose their motivation, then they lose their passion. But is it passion, or you just don't feel like doing it anymore? So it's like you got to take control of that wheel as a photographer, and then know photography is a people business. You have customers. It's a service business. You're giving people your art, so you have to treat your customers like customers and people, and value them, and extend that over to any interaction you have, and that's going to help you. I don't really do any outreach. Everything is, I've said probably 5 times.
Word of mouth,
they hit me up, and I'm like, okay, that's literally all of everything. All my business. Okay, yeah, this is cool.
So if I am someone who has a nice company and I want to reach out to Mark Clennon, how do I get in contact?
Best way to reach you.
Probably email.
Okay.
mark@markclennon.com.
Let's go.
Clennon is like John Lennon with a C in the front.
Ooh, that's a good way to fucking describe it.
My mom taught me that when I was like 6. I had no idea who John Lennon was.
What?
But
What about now?
Now I know who he is.
Of course.
You can find me on Instagram at mark.c.
Mark.c. It's very simple. At Mark.c.
At mark.c.
You gotta keep it simple.
I want to thank Mark for taking time out his day and coming into this arena here or area in this cold area with the rain and everything.
The rain coming down.
And still making it to be on the show. Mark, thanks for coming through. Again for the fifth time.
COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too. If you feel symptoms, even if they're mild, you should test fast. Test positive and at high risk for severe COVID-19? Then act fast with authorized oral treatments that can be taken at home and must be taken within 5 days from when symptoms begin. COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too by asking your healthcare provider if an oral treatment is right for you. Learn about a treatment option at treatcv19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.